normal because they're fucking not. Democrats already have a problem with people thinking that they are not the common sense crowd. And then when they see, the Chapel Roans and the Billie Eilishes of the world who don't act like normal people, and then whatever they're saying just strikes everybody in America who's a normal person as, oh God,
all right,
here's more of this stuff where you can't relate to a real life. Like, there's a reason why we sometimes separate boys and girls. Boy Scouts now have girls in them. I think this is ridiculous. It's called the Boy Scouts. Do you have to always be fucking stupidly counterintuitive about everything? Girls, they also need time when they're just with girls because they can't be around these knuckleheads.
Yeah.
You look like you're angry about this.
No, I'm not angry. I'm just trying to think about it. And I'm like, this is really what I try to do. I try not to get angry about these things, Bill.
Kind of assholes who live here amongst us, the kind of super woke people, they live to have themselves thought of as the good people, as the social justice warriors. So they're always looking for some new marginalized people.
Bill Maher is on a tear right now, pulling back the curtain on what a lot of people conveniently ignored during the Oscars. Sure, a handful of actors, producers, and directors walked away with awards, but a lot of those wins felt less about merit and more about checking the right ideological boxes. But here's where it gets interesting. Maher is pointing to something bigger, something deeper that could seriously shake up Hollywood as we know it. On a recent episode of Club Random, he didn't just take a shot. He went straight at both Democrats and the entertainment industry, and it got uncomfortable fast. Stick around, because this one hits harder than you think.
Strike people as normal because they're fucking not. Democrats already have a problem with people thinking that they are not the common sense crowd. And then when they see, the Chapel Roans and the Billie Eilishes of the world who don't act like normal people, and then whatever they're saying just strikes everybody in America who's a normal person as, oh God,
all right,
here's more of this stuff where you can't relate to a real life. And of course, there was comedy in there about it's so easy to show celebrities acting crazy, like giving Kanye a school.
I went to a Kamala Harris rally. My wife and I donated to the campaign.
Maher takes direct aim at Democrats, arguing they've leaned way too heavily on celebrities who just don't connect with everyday Americans. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. These celebrities live in a completely different world, insulated from the real pressures people deal with every single day. Their wealth shields them from rising costs, safety concerns, and cultural tension. And people are starting to notice. Take Emma Watson, for example. When she made comments about gender and public spaces, it might sound reasonable from her perspective, but let's be real, she's never going to deal with those situations herself. She doesn't live that reality. And that disconnect? That's exactly why more voters are tuning out elite voices and demanding something real.
Harris rally. My wife and I donated to the campaign.
Oof.
And Megan Thee Stallion played. And that was pretty fucking epic, Bill, if you were there. I mean, it really invigorated excitement,
It really invigorated the people who are already going to vote for her anyway. That's who invigorated.
There is no correct, Bill. There is no correct.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can jerk each other off all day long. Kamala Harris lost all 7 swing states. I mean, she went 0 for 7 where the election was. I mean, that's not, you have to almost try to fuck up that badly. As I've said many times, they lost a crazy contest against a crazy person. So, you do you vote for who you want, you believe what you want. I'm friends with everybody.
And that's exactly the problem. Democrats put all this energy into celebrity-driven campaigns for Kamala Harris, but it completely missed the mark where it actually counts: undecided voters. Let's be honest, the people showing up to those flashy, star-studded events were already locked in. That wasn't persuasion, it was an echo chamber. Maher's point cut straight through it. Stop talking to people who already agree with you and start reaching the middle. Bring in voices that feel grounded, relatable, and real, not out-of-touch elites. And maybe most importantly, Stop bending over backwards for the loudest fringe voices. Shift back to the center, embrace common sense, and start sounding like a party that actually understands how most Americans live.
I'm not even joking because I'm a fan, so I'm like, oh, let's see Bill, and it's a pressure situation. They're calling your name. You're in front of all those people. Do you give a shit whether you win or lose?
Of course. I mean, you have to be some sort of a liar to say, oh no, I got all dressed up in a monkey suit and, put on makeup at 3 p.m. to go out to this thing and this giant traffic jam. I hated every fucking minute of it. I hated all those Emmy award shows I went to, and they would never give it to me, and they never will. And I understand why. That's okay. We don't have to go into that. But, yeah, of course you want to, because I had such a good speech, but I knew that. I did.
Give it to us. Come on. Give us a little bit.
Oh, I don't remember what it was, but I think the first thing I was going to say was, I can't believe this woke town gave me an award.
Yeah. That's why they didn't give it to you, I guess. They didn't want to
exactly why.
Maher didn't win the award, and honestly, he probably knew he wouldn't. Not after years of openly criticizing woke Hollywood and its tight alignment with the Democratic Party. In his view, the industry has shifted away from rewarding talent and toward rewarding ideology. So when he got nominated at the Golden Globes, the outcome felt almost predictable. But here's the difference. He didn't stay quiet. He went straight at the system, calling out what he sees as a culture that prioritizes messaging over merit. And for Maher, this wasn't about bitterness. It was about consistency. Every moment like this just reinforces his argument that Hollywood is drifting further away from authenticity.
There's a reason why we sometimes separate boys and girls. Boy Scouts now have girls in them. I think this is ridiculous. It's called the Boy Scouts. Do you have to always be fucking stupidly counterintuitive about everything? Girls, they also need time when they're just with girls because they can't be around these knuckleheads.
Yeah.
You look like you're angry about this.
No, I'm not angry. I'm just trying to think about it. And I'm like, this is really what I try to do. I try not to get angry about these things, Bill. Okay. And I try to think.
Bill Maher doesn't hold back here, going straight at what he sees as a major cultural shift around masculinity. Over time, he argues, traditional male traits have been painted as something negative, something to be embarrassed about, and that's pushed a lot of men into second-guessing who they are. In his view, it's gone so far that some are rejecting masculinity altogether. He points to institutions like the Boy Scouts of America, criticizing the move to include girls as part of a broader trend of erasing male-only spaces. To him, this isn't about inclusion, it's about dilution. And then comes a moment that really drives his argument home. Pay close attention to what Jerry O'Connell says next, because it perfectly captures the shift Maher has been warning about.
What I was thinking was, why would they do that? And maybe it's to take away stigma of gender. I don't know.
I'll tell you why, Jerry, they do it. Because the kind of assholes who live here amongst us, the kind of super woke people, they live to have themselves thought of as the good people, as the social justice warriors. So they're always looking for some new marginalized people to champion. And of course, the very thought of it is noble. And I get it. And I'm an old school liberal.
100%.
We've always been there for this.
100%.
And they take it just 10 subway stops too far
100%.
to places where it's just about making them.
Maher keeps pushing deeper, going beyond surface-level arguments and getting to what he believes is the real driving force behind the woke movement. According to him, it's not really about solving real-world problems. It's about signaling. It's about projecting moral superiority and positioning yourself as part of the good group. In Maher's view, this isn't activism. It's performance. A lot of these public stances aren't about real change. They're about attention, validation, and social currency. The more extreme the position, the more attention it gets. And once that becomes the incentive, authenticity takes a back seat. That's where things start to break down, because instead of solving problems, it creates division and resentment.
Doing something. And you know what? You're not Rosa Parks. You're not anybody who's doing anything. You're just like trying to be this sort of social justice warrior. And there's no war that needs to happen here. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, there's no hate crime happening. Okay, it's just about the way it really is with boys and girls.
I think I can speak on this as someone who has two 17-year-old girls here in Los Angeles.
Maher argues that a lot of this outrage just doesn't line up with reality, and it's not hard to see why some people agree. The question is simple. What's the actual crisis here? Groups like the Girl Guides already exist alongside organizations like the Boy Scouts of America, each serving different purposes. Critics say these changes weren't driven by real harm or exclusion, but by a push to redefine everything under activism. From that perspective, it's not about fixing a problem, it's about stepping in where there wasn't one to begin with. And that's where frustration builds. When you start changing long-standing institutions without a clear reason, it begins to feel less necessary and more performative.
The woke people, that they are their own worst enemies with so much of this shit. You're talking about your boyfriend, Mamdani, in New York. A lot. I don't know what the tally.
My boyfriend, but
yeah, I don't know what the tally is.
Casually seeing each other.
I don't know what the tally is now, but it's in the at least high teens of homeless people who have died in the freezing, because it's just not the policy of the woke to ever think that we could forcibly get people off the street, which is what we used to think.
Right. There were vagrancy
liberals.
laws. When I was younger, there was no vagrancy.
It was what we thought was compassionate, to not be sleeping in fucking 0-degree weather on the sidewalk, as opposed to their, protecting them like they're some sort of endangered species in their natural habitat. So I only bring this up to say, analogous to, and I could name 10 things, and I don't want to because I don't want this to be so political.
And it's not just one politician under fire here. Even Gavin Newsom, someone Bill Maher has spoken positively about before, is getting pulled into the same conversation. There was a time when many believed the humane approach was to get people off the streets, sometimes even against their will, to protect them from danger, addiction, and extreme conditions. But that approach was quickly labeled inhumane by activists. So policies shifted. Now, in many cases, people are left out on the streets, even in unsafe conditions, all in the name of autonomy. Critics argue that's not compassion, it's neglect dressed up as virtue. And that tension is exactly what's fueling this debate right now.
Makes sense for the old school liberals of the world, as opposed to what just sometimes seems performative. Now, again, people should absolutely get what they deserve, but also, we live in the era we live in. I can't change the fact that Tilly Norwood is now a movie star. You know who that is?
No, I don't. I'm so sorry.
That's the AI actress.
Oh.
Tilly Norwood. She's not real.
Maher says if Hollywood wants to survive, it needs a reality check, and fast. In his view, the industry has spent way too much time chasing approval from the woke crowd while ignoring what actually makes great entertainment. Instead of focusing on ideology, he argues it's time to get back to basics, reward real talent, strong storytelling, and performances that connect with everyday people. Awards should mean excellence, not political alignment. Because when recognition starts feeling manufactured, audiences notice, and they start tuning out. For Maher, the fix is simple. Rebuild trust, prioritize quality, and stop letting outside pressure dictate creative decisions.
How many spaces does she take when she parks in
I don't know, but
Caruso Mall?
None, because she doesn't exist outside of AI.
Is she attractive?
She's very attractive. I mean, this is the future of movies. They're going to shoot it for $10.
Does she have to get high in order for to have a conversation?
You don't have to do. That's the point. They're going to want to hire Tilly Norwood.
No, they won't. I'm not afraid of AI.
Oh,
could AI recreate who you are every Friday night on HBO Max?
No, not me. But a lot of things they could.
Could they have recreated this conversation? Could AI have come up with us, talking about Fat Kid from Stand By Me and Goo and Frozen Homeless and covering it all?
No, absolutely not. But could they make Maverick, Top Gun? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe,
They practically did. No, I'm kidding. I actually like that.
It was a great movie.
It was
really
movie,
good. But I understand what you're saying.
It's, anyway, look, you and I are not the people who are going to say, Father, I'll just put her out there right now.
Yeah, I was just saying, but Bill, you know what? I want to thank you. You're one of the few people, those who don't live in Los Angeles. Bill still shoots his show on a lot,
Oh,
on a Hollywood lot, on a stage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have said, oh, it would be cheaper if we moved to this stage out there, or that you're right there in Hollywood shooting it. And that's going to be a part of your budget. And like you do it, I'm currently not working on a lot. I had to go make a film out of the country,
Where?
I went to beautiful country. I went to South Africa. I went to Cape Town.
Wow.
Gorgeous. Really fun.
It is.
Really, made a great film, worked for,
At the end of the day, Bill Maher is raising a bigger warning. This goes way beyond award shows or political jabs. It's about authenticity, and he believes both Hollywood and the political left are losing it fast. Whether it's celebrities lecturing everyday people, institutions bending to fringe pressure, or awards driven by ideology instead of merit, the pattern is clear. The disconnect is growing, and audiences feel it. This isn't just about politics anymore. It's about people feeling ignored by elites who claim to represent them. Maher's message is simple: reset. Get back to common sense, reward real talent, and reconnect with reality. Because once trust is gone, getting it back isn't easy. And if you're enjoying this kind of unfiltered commentary, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.